What's up, guys? Welcome to Chasing Pelagics. I'm Jeff, and this is your SoCal fishing forecast for Thursday, July 18th. Man, we got some pretty unpredictable summer weather here. We didn't quite get into the sunshine that we were looking for very long before Mother Nature has turned its reary head at us with some wind. But as our current 10-day forecast here, as I mentioned last week, we're going to see a little bit of moisture, monsoonal moisture, and we've been seeing it. Didn't get stuck in the mountains as they had predicted. Saw a little bit of raindrops here this morning, but it quickly burned off. And that seems to be the remaining pattern for the next couple of days here. Doesn't look like that monsoonal moisture that we normally see in August. You know, it kind of rears its humidness and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Not quite kicking off yet. We've got some northwest winds that are disrupting that and kind of kicking it back down south. So it's kind of a battle of the seasons here at the moment, but you can see over the next several days, we still have quite a bit of cloud cover in the morning. As that peels off into next week, starting to look like more of a proper summer here as we head into August, which is typically our hottest month. And this is what we got going on here. So today, not terribly bad compared to the last couple of days here, but things are going to take a little bit of a jump. Let me drop a pin here. Maybe get a little bit more zoom, if not too far. But so Thursday here into Friday, this is probably your best bet if you're looking to head out on the water for some decent conditions here. But as we head into Friday, these northwest winds kick up, and it's going to be bumpy, driving a west wind swell. A couple different periods, we'll go through that, but generally speaking, it's going to be pretty bumpy. I would imagine sport boats will still be running 19 knots, but they won't be heading west to the Cherry Banks or to the Tanner, where the fish have been the last couple weeks or the last week or so. But we'll get into more of that, a little bit of eddy action as well. So that's kind of where you're going to see that cloud cover coming from. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. But as far as we can see right now, I think this chart gets a little bit unpredictable after that. But what has been going on? Well, this is our water temps. This is actually, this one is on the Tanner. So we have 63 dropped to 61, not dramatic. Quick look at our, actually that wasn't the Tanner. Yeah, that was the Tanner. So what's going on out there conditions wise? 6 to 10 foot, blowing up to 25 knots. Not a place you want to be in a sport boat, private boat, any boat really in particular, unless you're on a cruise ship. Probably wouldn't care, but this is the current forecast for the San Clemente Basin buoy. So this is 30 to 60 miles, so up to the front side of San Clemente Island. Looking a little bit better this week, but again, 3 to 4 feet. West swell 3 feet at 5 seconds. That's going to be annoying. And then head into Saturday, 2 feet at 4 seconds. 3 feet at 8 seconds, and then there's a long period south swell of 14. So basically a giant washing machine. And then, yeah, every day is kind of same condition, but slightly different. So keep your eyes on it. Probably not worth heading west past that to explore if you're looking to poke out there. This is our temperatures out at the Basin buoy. So you saw we were at 69 degrees, maybe a little warmer. And then the last couple of days, we've had a pretty significant drop. So it tells you a couple things. One, we didn't really, I mean, we had some wind, but not a lot of wind. We're not talking a week worth of wind. We had 2 days worth of wind. And you saw, 4 degree drop. It tells you that the thermocline is pretty thin. So we don't have a lot of, we have some warm water, but it's not very thick. So typically your beaches, when that west swell comes in, you're going to get some upwelling, and you're going to see those temps drop there as well. So some of your inshore fishing, or if you're a surf fisherman, your temperatures are going to drop quite a bit, especially over the next several days with that west wind swell. So just something to keep in mind if you're trying to get a little bass bite going. You don't want to go too far, but you got to keep that in mind. I have not heard anything from the Channel Islands as of late. Obviously, the wind has been up. You can tell right here by the temp break that we got going here, 64 all the way to 72, and we are currently looking at the 3-day chart. This chart is also a little deceiving, and I want to explain that. We got some holes being poked in here, and basically is that 3 days ago we had some pretty decent water temps, but we've had cloud cover the last couple of days. So this warmer water is what you're seeing is really 3-day-old charts, 3-day-old charts. And then these holes you got poked in here is more the real-world current condition. So you got some 66-degree water here like that we talked about. We talked about the basin buoy. Here we are, 64-ish. So you got to keep in mind the accuracy of the data that you're looking at. The 1-day chart, still a little blurry. A lot of stuff missing here still, especially down south. So we'll keep an eye on it. I don't believe for a second that this is 72-degree water. The buoys say differently. So again, lots of cloud cover. We don't have any real, I'd say, accurate charts. And we're completely missing the chlorophyll, which I think is pretty important at this point. So let's talk about what had been happening and what is not happening. I know that Santa Barbara Island got looked at for white sea bass. It was not great. Yellows were not biting well there either. I don't know of anyone that ventured out to Nick in particular. That's pretty far. It's been in the wind. No real reason to fish it at the moment. Not any better than Santa Barbara, so it doesn't make a lot of sense. There's been a lot of people out here poking around at the bluefin, and I'm going to switch back here to our bottom detail. And they've been hooked in this basin here below Nick, all the way down to just above the Tanner as well. So we mentioned last week we saw them up here on the escarpment, and when the fish go missing, I always say go north or go west. This time they went west. They followed, the ridge line to the 7-Eleven. Just out here, they got to the cherry banks, and they're moving every day in a pretty considerable fashion. 5 to 10 miles, pretty consistently all last week. And once they got the cherry banks, they kind of disappeared. And whether they went to the wind line and moved north up here, maybe we're going to find them up here at the Channel Islands next week once this wind calms down a little bit, or they went beyond that, or maybe they found refuge somewhere else. But typically, like I said, the pattern is either north or west. And as of right now, this isn't worth venturing out to find out with current sea state. So Catalina, still full of boats. A little bit of yellowtail has been poking around here. Unfortunately, the front side was pretty blown out today, so not a whole lot of information coming from that side. But there's been scattered yellows around the island. Still a little bit of squid down here at Ben Weston. You might find an occasional sea bass still left, and various yellows from 6 pounds to 15 pounds. No real giants out there, but use your typical hunting techniques: slow trail baits, pulling, lipped lures that are diving, preferably mackerel, to try and locate those fish and chum them up heavy once you get them up. We'll talk about San Clemente Island. We've had a pretty good run of squid on the backside at the dunes. It's been a pretty good bite. Plenty of people have been able to make squid for both sea bass and yellows. I mean, really nice grade fish, up to like 40-pound yellows. Perfect California staple fish. Unfortunately, that wind's been up, and this bite is going to change here on the backside. So a lot of people have been opting to fish the front side, especially today. And although the fishing was not nearly as good on the front side as it has in the last couple days, lo and behold, several sport boats that were fishing the front here ended up seeing a bunch of 100-pound plus bluefin start boiling up on the front side, and everyone's got their dropper loops out with a piece of squid on it. So those that did get bit, I believe they went 0 for 18. So you gotta have the right weapon for the fight. But anything can happen this late in the season, especially when you're traveling this far offshore. You can run into any type of species anywhere, so you always gotta have something ready for it. Always have a jig tied on. Some heavier line, bigger reels. You gotta have various assortments of weapons when you're on any trip. Don't bring a 2-rod day and expect to kill it. So last week we also had a good little run and gun yellowfin right here close to home, mainly from Dana to Newport in front of Laguna. Various little areas offshore, not quite to the 14, but it seemed like there's been a little bit of a chlorophyll line here, and they were caught on that edge. And this water got really warm. I mentioned we got up to 72, and there's yellowfin and a little bit of yellowtail mixed in, but it was mainly yellowfin for the most part. Little football size, 15 to 30 pounds, occasional bigger ones. Really hard to stay on top of, but we're starting to see those signs of that topwater fish. So now that we're just not seeing the bluefin, we're seeing the yellowfin. Get those poppers ready, get those stick baits ready. Again, various weapons for the tactic that you got to approach. So keep that in mind. Since then, this has dried up. I was not seen today whatsoever. I know the whale watch boats are seeing it for pretty much like the last week, and some guys are hopping out in skiffs and trying to go after it. But a lot of people were unsuccessful staying on top of them, so don't feel like you missed out. There's right here, but some of these fish are going to get really skittish, so it is what it is. Moving down south, still pretty good yellowtail fishing at the Coronado Islands as well. Off and on, every day is a new day. They're always in a different place every day. You can't put a pin on them. But if you know how to work the islands like what we talked about, you shouldn't have too much trouble finding them. There's still a little sprinkle of that fish as well in La Jolla from day to day. Mainly under birds, bring the iron, maybe get them on a slow troll bait. But they are around those home guards, so you do have a chance if you don't want to go far, especially with the wind coming up the next several days. That is an option. Pushing south, there's been not a lot of volume of fish, unfortunately. 371, 425 area. I mean, there's been some, but not like what we saw last week. I think a lot of this has got pushed down with that wind. It's going to knock down these water temps, and we're starting to see more of the yellowfin and dorado and killepetty fishing further down here by the lower 500 up to the double 220. So we're talking west of the Banda Bank and south. This area is, you're going to see a lot more sport boats head here, and over the next several days. One, the weather is atrocious out there. Two, better chance of getting a bite until these bluefin pop up again. I know that this is my favorite moon phase to fish these bluefin on, going right into that full moon. But sometimes when that wind does what it wants, you don't get the conditions, and the fish ain't sticking in one place. So that pattern that we saw last week of these guys running 115, 120 miles from Point Loma out to below Nick to go fish bluefin, you won't be doing that this week. That's for sure. So we'll see what happens once this wind chills out and these water temps kind of get settled in. And like I said, it's the big box. You shake it up and you see how things land. And once you go open it, hopefully we'll have something that sticks a little bit better than what we had last week for just a few days. So, but getting into summertime here, so hopefully things can kind of settle in here before La Nina rears its ugly head come this fall. So that's it for this week, guys. As always, you can support us on our website with our online store, where you can have some more West Coast jigs back in stock. I know I got some of those HT350s, the smaller profile jigs, coming back in. Hopefully, you can have those probably Friday, hopefully, maybe Saturday. We'll see. As soon as I get them, they'll be up, and we'll drop something on Instagram or something. But That's it for this week, guys. Be safe out there, and yeah, take care of yourself. Cheers. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and check out our website and online store at chasingprojects.com. And make sure you share the stoke.